Dull car chases, zero tail chasing, everything you'd expect, and more on this week's episode of Watchbots.
Needs a more posh accent.
Okay.
You took
try
my
again.
joke.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'll redo it.
Do them both.
That was my joke.
We're going to play them both. What's your joke?
All right.
I was going to read mine with an accent.
Oh,
Do it.
You actually wrote one?
Yeah.
Okay. Do it.
Action. Aston Martin. Spies. Maybe? On this episode of Watchbots.
That was your posh accent?
Aston Martin.
Aston Martin.
Here, I'm gonna do a posh accent just like Shaylin. Here we go. There we go. Gadgets. Progeny.
Do not lump me into this.
Confusing things that don't make sense on this episode of Watchbots.
I've got it.
Okay.
Dull car chases, zero tail chasing, everything you'd expect, and more on this week's episode of Watchbots.
It's about as authentic as anything else. Welcome to Watchbots, the podcast about old cartoons and just old cartoons. This is Ben, and I am joined by Shaylin.
Hello.
Hello. And fresh off a 4-week tour of the Australian outback, we're welcomed again by Dave.
Oh, it's great to be back. Awesome walkabout. Loved it. You should try it.
How bad's your sunburn?
The sunburn's fine. It's the blisters, the clap, and the missing fingers that are the problem.
Is that from the kangaroo boxing?
It's all from one thing. Yeah, kangaroo boxing.
I was gonna. What about the didgeridoo suckle marks?
Wow.
Wow, did you play that live on air?
I bought a didgeridoo. And just played it live for you. So
wow.
That's a Watchbots first, everybody.
That's a treat.
Also, I splooged a little bit.
Indeed. Nothing changes ever.
On the walkabout. I splooged a little bit on the walkabout.
Yeah. I mean, it's like pissing, you know? Like when you're on a long bike ride.
You know, it's like you and Mother Nature are joining as one. It's required.
Mm-hmm.
Try it.
It's a biological reaction and a beautiful thing, despite Shaylin's, disapproving thoughts. Keep it to yourself.
I can hear the finger wagging all the way from over here, and I won't stand for it.
It's more just judgy gazes. Less finger wagging.
Judgy gazes.
Yeah.
Makes me laugh.
Good.
There's something in there, but I can't quite pull it out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a Judge Reinhold thing. I don't know. There's something. I'm not going to go with it.
You're welcome.
So we need to talk about Home Alone a little bit here.
We do.
As part of this new Disney service, which I'm all for, they've announced that they're going to reimagine Home Alone.
No.
Yeah.
Tell them not to.
I don't know.
Call your congressman now.
We've talked about these fucking reboots and stuff, but leave the memories alone.
Yeah.
Like, how are they gonna do it? Like,
poorly.
Are they just gonna put the Kevin McAllister character in a Faraday cage so he can't communicate to the outside world with all the technology that was in Home Alone 1?
They're gonna have to not have cell service.
No,
because of
right.
a dumb reason.
He's gonna use his Nest camera.
Yeah, exactly.
To its full effect. Hey, Alexa, send the paint can. And then he'll do a little wink to the camera.
Alexa, call my parents and tell them they left me here.
And then the movie's over. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I guess it's the principle of the thing, really, because Home Alone 1 and 2 are both classics. And then that franchise continued. So like Home Alone 3 had the mom, but it was another kid, which didn't make a lot of sense.
It
That was
the
her
little
secret
kid.
family.
Yeah, it was the little kid from the McDonald's commercials. Or was that Home Alone 4?
Oh, of course, the kid from the McDonald's commercials.
There was like a little kid that was in like a whole bunch of McDonald's commercials for like a year or two, and he was like one of those like precocious child actors. And then he was in Home Alone 3 or 4, and then never seen again.
Who, Alex D. Lintz?
Could be.
Yeah.
It could be. French Stevens showed up in one of those.
Mea culpa, French Stewart.
Excuse me. French
Oh.
Stewart.
I agreed with you. I knew who you meant.
My
Yeah.
mom was in Chicago when they were filming one of those. I want to say it was the fourth one. And she saw Kate McAllister, like I think she had realized the kid was home alone, so she's sprinting down the airport. So
So your mom saw a woman sprinting in the airport for a movie?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Or did she just see a woman sprinting in the airport and assumed they were filming a Home Alone?
maybe.
I kind of like that idea.
She did also get to clock Joe Pesci, but that also may have been a coincidence.
I think that was just an act of violence. I don't think that was because of something.
Joe Pesci just trying to get a coffee in O'Hare.
Your mom just cold clocks him.
Yeah. And then he fucking kneecapped her. So I don't know. I mean,
Well, he deserved it for scaring the shit out of me in my childhood. So.
true to character. But like I could feel the noose tightening because it feels like every month you hear announcements about like, oh, we're rebooting this or we're reimagining this. And like I could feel the grip tightening on Back to the Future. It's going to happen
Oh,
and it's going to be horrible.
I hate how right you are right now.
The one that I am really into, though, and there is an exception to every rule, right, is the Saw reimagining that has Chris Rock involved. For
Is that
some reason.
happening?
Yeah.
He's like the producer or director or something, right?
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
it.
Huh.
So that I'm really into. If you're going to reboot it, do it in a fucking insane way like Chris Rock being in Saw.
Yep. But when will they remake Half Past Dead? That's all I want to know.
Soon, I think.
I hope so. They could get Steven Seagal and Ja Rule to come back and just do it again.
Steven Seagal doesn't act anymore, though, does he?
I mean, he didn't act in that movie either, but he was
Oh
in
my!
it.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Kazing!
shit, son.
I wish I had like a siren noise on the board. Shaylin's heavy shot of the week.
Have you seen that movie?
No, I missed that one.
It is Half Past Dead is full past garbage to the point of just
Oh
hilarious.
my God!
Oh,
It's
oh, shit.
You won't see that on the back of the DVD.
I used to have the VHS tape somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. It shouldn't be funny, but it is.
I had the poster.
Of course you did.
No, I didn't. I didn't really have that.
Of course you did.
But I wanted it
I had
so bad.
I had the movie poster for Batman and Robin.
Hmm.
There was a period when I was, well, I mean, I like movie posters now, but I was really into them when I was a teenager. So for a birthday or a holiday, a relative got me the Batman and Robin movie poster.
Is that the one with the Riddler?
No, that's the one with Mr. Freeze.
Okay.
And the
Poison
bat
Ivy.
nipples.
Yeah.
Right.
So the bat nipples were on full display on in your poster.
I think it was like a stylized shot of all of their faces. So you had George Clooney and you had Chris O'Donnell with the big fucking Robin mask. And
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember if
And,
Alicia Silverstone was on that one. I think she was.
It had like it was like 5 sections for each of the main character's face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
Do you remember like the drama around Batman and Robin? Like George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell didn't get along.
Oh, really?
Supposedly, supposedly because of like the size of the cod pieces for each of their suit.
Oh, sure. I mean, that makes sense.
I thought
Yeah.
that got
Yeah.
debunked.
Was it?
I thought so, but
I'm
I mean,
sure it was, but it was a rumor. Regardless,
it's a funny rumor. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't make it up. It wasn't like some weird wet dream I had.
I mean, maybe it was,
It
but
could have been
could've-
both.
Yeah, that's very true.
am not going to be the one responsible for ruining that dream for you.
Don't wake me up.
So, speaking of campy entertainment, I've been watching a lot of Star Trek. It's been one of my summer projects, and I'm in the middle of season 2. So, it's a fun show to have on in the background because, Like, it's not the weightiest stuff in the world, right? So you can look at your
It's weighty
phone and
AF.
stuff. It's true. It's very political. So I was
Is this
Googling
Next Generation or old?
original.
series? Yeah.
So Kirk and Spock and the whole gang. So I was Googling like Star Trek original series season 2 when I see in the image section of it, Kirk and Spock in Nazi uniforms. And I was like, oh, this can't be real. And I clicked on it. And it is real. It's an episode I had never seen, and it was like 5 after the one I was watching. So I fucking charged through those as quickly as possible because I wanted to see Nazi Star Trek. And that's what it is. They visit a planet where a Starfleet sociology professor had visited, and they were like a brutal society. And he called Nazism like the most efficient form of government known to man, which is insane. And they literally like took on Nazi culture. So they show stock footage of Nazi parades, and Kirk and Spock have to dress up as Nazis. And
Jesus.
the group that's being oppressed are the Zayans, which is, as Shaylin pointed out, is very much like Zion.
Mm-hmm.
It was fucking wild. I was like, it's not offensive or anything. Like, it's just so crazy, but there's literal swastikas and stuff, and they're just wandering around, and they have to stop the Nazi culture. And I mean, you better believe that Kirk and Spock and McCoy, who's dressed up as a Gestapo doctor, they shut Nazis down. And I like that.
How does it end?
So the guy that had started the Nazi culture was actually being drugged, and his second in command was the true Nazi.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
a good twist.
So the guy who'd been drugged is shot and killed, and then they phaser the other guy, and then there's like a rebel group, and they take over. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So
So,
definitely not supporting Nazism.
I mean, not really.
It's not pro-Nazi.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is a funny thing when you've been out of the room doing something else and you come in and sit down not really paying much attention and, oh, Spock's a Nazi. Huh.
Mhm.
All right.
That
I'm
was
going to
the
go
rest
do
of
the
the
dishes,
series.
I guess.
It's another one of those episodes, too, where like they have to dress up in outfits, which happens a fucking ton in the original series. But Spock always has to cover his ears, and then he's quickly discovered. It's
Poor
a good,
Spock.
It's a good trope. Yeah. So put upon.
It's true.
Anyway, Star Trek is fucking great. But speaking of 60s pop culture, and I'm blown away by how good this segue is,
Oh, I love it.
we are visiting another piece of 60s pop culture, kind of. We are talking today about James Bond Jr., and you'll notice, listener, that we got away for a few weeks from shows that involve childlike versions of adult characters, and we're now full-fledged back to those. So I think that it's not a coincidence, and it's probably quite clear that Dave picked this. So
Yes.
walk us through this a little bit.
And I'm this. Yes, I do have trends, but we also collectively have trends. I unknowingly picked this, and
What do you mean you unknowingly picked it? You sent us a link.
No. I unknowingly picked it, given the fact that you had I think it was you, Shaylin, had chosen the Ewoks, which is another cartoon that bastardizes a beloved franchise.
True enough.
That's true. That's fair.
So I unknowingly picked it in that context. But no, I knowingly and very purposefully picked this show because this was one of the first cartoons I thought of when we started this podcast, and just wanted to get to it and finally have. But it's your typical Dave pick. It's a fondly remembered piece of TV garbage that ran the requisite 65 episodes, and then no more, ran in syndication for a little bit. This show was my gateway into the James Bond movies. I was about 6 or 7 when it came out, and I hadn't seen a James Bond movie or like sat down to watch one. It might have been on the TV, like when my dad was watching it or something, but I never really watched it because I was too young, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like those, very adult themes and all that. So I had never seen the movies. I got really into it. I think my dad wanted to watch it too, so we watched it together. It was a little bonding moment for us, no pun intended. But I had all these questions because he would see there was Jaws would come up, And I'd be like, oh man, look at that guy. My dad would tell me about the Jaws character in the movie and the differences. And then someone else would come up, like IQ. And I'd ask him, is he in the movie? No, his grandfather, blah, 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 blah. So it got me into the Bond movies. So that's what I can appreciate about this cartoon. And I think that's about all I can appreciate about this cartoon, is that it just led me into appreciating the movies and upon rewatch, appreciating them a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Watching this, I had a whole bunch of questions. Just, when I was little, I had a bunch of questions, and I still have them now. But I think the big one is, who is this for?
It's a good question.
My questions are so much more pedantic than that. My questions are like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Is he a secret agent? But we'll tackle those.
Yeah, well, I think it all ties together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's my explanation. I don't have to answer to you two.
That's generally true. Jill, were you a Bondophile, a Gym-a-maniac?
So no is the short answer. I am laughing here quietly as Dave talks about he was too young to watch the films, so his parents let him watch the cartoon.
Sure.
I have a vivid memory of sitting down with my grandpa and my uncle to watch Goldfinger when I was like 6 and just being like really confused about certain things. And then there were parts where I like very distinctly remember going, it's really weird that this man is doing this with this woman, and I'm sitting between my uncle and my grandpa, and I'm confused, and I don't want to ask questions, and I'm just going to go to the bathroom, I guess? Like...
It's like James Bond is trying to jump over that woman, but he can't quite make it.
Pretty much.
I need some alone time.
No, it was much more like, I need to not be in this situation.
Timothy Dalton.
Oh, hover.
I'm very uncomfortable. It started when I was young. The uncomfortable. That's what I'm trying to say. I said that a lot.
Wow.
Anyway.
Yikes.
I think I've probably only seen 3 of the Bond films in total. Maybe 4. And only 1 in the theater. So.
Interesting.
And what about you, Ben?
They hit a lot of things that I generally enjoy. Like I like spy movies. I like action. I haven't seen a ton of the Bond movies, and I don't really know why. It's because I'm so woke. Anyway, but like, like
woke in 1995.
That's right. GoldenEye was my entry into it, which came out in 96 or 97 and was the first Pierce Brosnan movie. So I played the shit out of that game and saw all the Brosnan movies. And over time, like I saw most of the Connery movies and things like that, but they just, I don't know. Like I know they were on TV a lot, but they were never really in my rotation.
Yeah, I've definitely seen like bits and pieces of a lot of them, and I can identify it as like, oh, this is a James Bond movie, and these are the bad guys, and these are the good guys.
Yeah.
But I don't like the start to finish stuff. Never.
Yeah. But I mean, I saw the Austin Powers movies dozens of times.
Sure.
I don't even think I'm kidding, but maybe I am.
I think I saw Austin Powers like 4 times in the theater when it came out.
Smash. That movie could not possibly hold up now, right?
I mean, I'm willing to watch it again to try.
Yeah, I kind of am too, actually.
As I recall, I feel like I really liked the second one better than the first one, but I think it's just because of the number of poop jokes.
So here's a weird thing. So I've seen the first one a lot, and I've seen the third one a lot. I've never seen the second one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. I saw the third one time, and I didn't love it. I do distinctly remember, ready? This is a good quick story. I asked my friend how the movie was because my mom she disallowed it for a period of time for appropriateness. The one whose dad had me watch Goldfinger when I was 5. Anyway, I asked how the movie was, and my friend's response was, it's horny? And I think that's about the most apt description ever of the Austin Powers movies.
It's horny, baby.
Indeed.
Yeah, baby.
Can we redo the beginning to do Austin Powers voices?
Oh, damn it.
Yeah,
Who
baby.
does number 2? So yeah. So anyway, we're not talking about Austin Powers, okay?
No.
Don't get us off track, Shailen. We're talking about James Bond Jr., which is of course based off of James Bond. Now, there was a James Bond Jr. novel in the 60s, which was The Adventures of James Bond Jr. 003.5, which is sort of wordy. There's debate whether that is actually in the book canon. There's a whole backstory to it, but we're not here to talk about James Bond Jr., the book. We're here to talk about the cartoon, goddammit. And in a nutshell, this is about James Bond Jr., who is not the son of James Bond, but he is the nephew, which raises why he's a junior. But it involves a lot of the offspring and other family members and associates of the James Bond universe going to high school, which is a fucking strange premise, but
Fancy high school.
a goddamn fancy high school.
Oh, it's the fanciest of boarding schools.
And this was brought to us by the fine folks at Murakami, Wolf and Swenson, the production company which is most famous for Ninja Turtles, but they also did a bunch of other licensed stuff. So they did that cartoon, The Toxic Avengers,
Oh, okay.
which was based off of the Troma movie Toxic Avenger, which is a bizarre choice to have a cartoon made after it. But
that's like Rambo-esque.
yeah,
I think
Let's take this super adult movie and turn it into a cartoon.
yeah.
I feel like I watched that cartoon a lot, but I don't I have an
You
image
don't
in my head.
Do you have a vivid image, but not a memory?
Don't make fun of me.
We all have tropes and routines, Shailen. It's okay.
I pick garbage shows. You have vivid images. And
Ben,
Ben,
what makes me wonder why we're married.
And you know what I do? I flip the script on all of you constantly.
Yeah.
I'm zigging. You don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, like all the cartoons at the time, this had a toy line. This had a fucking ridiculously hard Super Nintendo game that I had and played a lot despite not routinely watching James Bond Jr. You know how like you would end up with those video games just because somebody gave them to you? It's like,
Yeah.
like your grandma found them in a bargain bin at Kmart or something.
yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of those.
Like I seem to recall that I wanted the Adventures of James Pond video game, which was James Bond as a frog, I believe. But I got James Bond Jr.
That was supposed to be like a pretty good game, right?
James Pond?
Yeah.
I think so.
Did that really exist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
I thought you were
lying.
making a joke.
Well, I do make a lot of bad jokes, but I assure you this is not one of them.
This is serious.
But anyway, the James Bond game was so hard, I never made it past the first level. But speaking of like vivid memories and images in the mind, I remember to this day the video game theme. I'm gonna play a few seconds here. Mostly notable for that Seinfeld bass line, but
When I was learning to play bass guitar in high school, a different uncle had me watch video games or have like my brother or sister play video games while I played the bass along with the bass line.
okay.
It was good practice.
All right.
Could you play this now?
No. Mostly because my guitar is not here. And also because I haven't played it in about a decade.
But I didn't mean like play it right now. Could you play it? Like if somebody asked you and you had a bass guitar in your hand, would you be able to play it?
No.
No.
Have not picked up a guitar in about a decade.
All right.
Here's a sketch idea. What if Jerry Seinfeld was a James Bond-esque secret agent?
It would just turn into the Naked Gun movies.
No, it wouldn't get that
It would be like
slapsticky.
it'd be like observational humor about the spy world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you think about it, his
What's to
life,
do with all these ladies?
like if you combine his real life with the sitcom, he kind of has a lot of it down, right? Because he's constantly sleeping with women with like funny names like Dolores, and in comedians in cars getting coffee, he drives really nice cars that probably have machine guns and shit in them. So
Yeah, he's
pretty
already
much
most of the way there. Remind me to tweet at Jerry Seinfeld for this episode.
yeah, I'll do that.
Hold on, I'm going to take
I'm
a
writing
note.
it down.
Remind Jerry Seinfeld about watchbots. Okay. Noted.
What's the deal with Spectre? Blofeld, more like blow.
More like Blofeld.
Ugh.
Oh, God. Shaylin, take over. Ben and I are going to take a nap.
I'm really excited to take a picture of the note that I just wrote myself and post it on Instagram and then question what I was talking about.
Hashtag latergram.
Hashtag
No filter.
No filter. Damn it.
hashtag show notes.
That's a good hashtag.
Show no filter.
Absolutely.
But
So
Seinfeld is Bond.
yes,
No, go
Seinfeld
ahead,
was Bond. What was happening when this show aired that made it appropriate or okay or a thing that anyone decided to produce?
Are you trying to get into contextual feeling?
Yes.
Oh.
Did it work?
Well, there's only one way to find out. Ooh, what were we seeing? It's contextual feeling. This is a really clunky segue, Sheila. I'm sorry.
I thought it was pretty okay until you questioned me.
I thought that you wanted to know more about the production company.
Do you have more information about
yeah,
Fred Wolf?
Yeah, I got 8 pages.
And Haruki Murakami.
Oh, man. Here's a sketch. Haruki Murakami, but as James Bond.
I like
Magical
it.
realist Japanese author Haruki Murakami writes the next James Bond film.
Starring Jerry Seinfeld. Soundtrack by Dick Wolf's stepbrother, Fred Wolf.
Oh, ooh. Oh, God.
What was that noise?
That was a wolf noise.
No, it wasn't.
Jesus. Fucking.
Have
I
you
thought you
ever
just-
seen a wolf or heard of one?
I thought you were just stuttering.
No.
A woo.
A woo.
A woo.
So like a
I think that you could
put upon a
survey
wolf.
like 300,000 or 400,000 people, and all of them would do a better wolf sound than that.
Here's a pitch. Benicio del Toro from The Wolfman, but as James Bond.
Oh.
Yeah.
A woo. A woo. The woo is on fire.
Well, listeners, we want to hear from you. If you think you've got a good wolf impression, hashtag wolf noise. Or Jack Nicholson wolf.
And if they hashtag watchbots, no, if they at watchbots
Oh, boy.
with a great video of them doing a wolf noise, we will DM them for their address and mail them a sticker.
Yeah, I'll do you one better. DM our address, and I'll send you an autograph.
Yeah.
An 8x11 headshot of me, which is just the Watchbots logo, and my name. Just my first name, though, because I won't give away my last.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Just getting doxxed every single week. Do you know how many times I've had to move physical locations because of this show?
So many times.
So anyway, there was a lot going on in the world, and that leads us to... Anyway, that would have been a good segue. But it's too late. We're segued out. So the episode we watched here was, I'm going to say the pilot. It felt like a pilot. And it was called The Beginning, and it aired on September 30th, 1991. And that was a mere 2 days away from a very important world event. And no, Shaylin, not your birthday.
9/11.
Nope.
On October 1st, 1991, Bill Clinton announced that he was running for president.
I want you to know that September 30th is the last day of September.
So
It's
maybe he did
one
it
day.
October 2nd.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever. 31 days hath September, April,
No.
June, and September.
Still no.
All right. Anyway, so the world was changed and made sexier, assaulty, or
Saxophonier.
yeah.
Saxier.
I'm just throwing this out there. Monica Lewinsky on Twitter has been killing it lately.
What's up with you in social media? An influencer.
Do you want people to listen to the show?
Yeah,
Was-
well,
was
what's
she
that
a-
to Monica Lewinsky?
Is she a Firefest influencer?
Oh, man.
Hey, I'll tell you, she sets me on fire.
No, a couple weeks ago, someone asked on Twitter what was the worst career advice anyone ever gave you, and she wrote, "Get an internship at the White House."
Blue dress.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it is funny. Oh, like that blue dress, Monica.
How about you give me some blue jeans and that blue dress?
Been watching some James Bond. Here's a pitch. Bill Clinton. All right. Anyway, so top movies. Let's go through these. Number 1 was The Fisher King, which I always confuse with the movie about Bobby Fischer.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, because they came out around the same time.
I also confuse it with Gone Fishing with Joe Pesci and Dan.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Fisher King is.
Robin Williams. Fishing.
I believe you.
Okay.
Is that Jeff Bridges as well?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Number 2, Necessary Roughness.
Excellent.
Like one of those late 80s, early 90s sports comedy movies.
Oh, I thought it was a erotic thriller.
Well, that would be number 3, which is Deceived, which starred Goldie Hawn
Huh.
and her husband getting entangled in a web of lies. So
Nice.
Her IRL husband or her portrayed husband in the movie?
portrayed.
Okay.
No, don't try to throw shade on Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. We ship them on
That is untouchable.
On Facebook.
And they
I
are
was-
never breaking up.
I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't like some dirty rumor that was flying around. It's just the plot
No,
of the movie.
it's a movie.
Just making sure.
Based on real events with Goldie Hawn. Starring Goldie Hawn. Directed by Goldie Hawn.
It was a Goldie Hawn affair.
Yeah.
So top
Goldie
song,
Hawn-a-thon.
Goldie Wilson. I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know. What's going on? Top song was Good Vibrations by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yeah.
The cover of the Beach Boys song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever play that Sega CD game, which was make your own Marky Mark music video?
No.
Of course, Ben, I wrote it.
Thank
I produced
goodness.
that game. With my buddy Al Pacino.
That's right.
We had a Sega CD production company.
I was there.
Yeah.
And I was there too. With
It literally went up in flames.
Oh my god.
I'll tell you, it gives me those good vibrations. It's Monica.
Oh my god.
What's the deal with Sega CD? Where'd the cartridges go?
I'll tell you later. I'd like to put that cartridge.
Doop, 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 doop. Father Flavin's never gonna forgive me for this.
Okay. All right. Hope we get all this ridiculousness out because we got serious shit to talk about. That's spies. So I didn't understand the show at all.
No. Nope.
It like to your point, Dave, I don't know who this was for. Like when you think James Bond, you've got womanizing and you got sex and guns and gadgets and
Some action.
some action.
Spies.
Yeah.
And outside of gadgets,
plot?
like this had none of that. It just there's toning it down, and then there's really like just murdering it. But let's get into it. So we get a cold open, and you get a car like literally bouncing around and fishtailing around a dirt road, and we'll find out that this is driven by JBJ himself, James Bond Jr., and he's being chased by another car who we'll find out has Scumlord and Jaws in it. And it seems like a pretty action-packed chase, right? Scumlord is blasting lasers, and James has like a fucking sheet pan in his car that bounces the lasers, and there's jumps and stuff. But it's never really made clear, like, why they're chasing him. And
Where they are.
where they are. Well, they're in England, I guess.
Just rolling fields.
Yeah.
They're on a road near a truck that has a hay bale.
Yeah.
Right.
An indestructible hay bale that can absorb the pressure of a car crashing into it with no damage to the truck or the car.
And I'm all for a contextless car chase, right? Like, car chases are awesome. But
Sure.
as you go along in the episode, it becomes even less clear, like, what was this chase all about?
I just really liked
I truly have no idea.
the opening line is like the opening James Bond Jr. line was something about like, oh, a pity they'll miss their flight.
Oh, it's funny you bring that up.
Pity they missed their flight. These Sunday drivers.
Sunday drivers.
Sunday drivers.
I went back and listened to that pity they'd missed their flight like 10 times trying to figure out what he was talking about and then realized, oh, he's not talking about anything. There's no context. Like I didn't miss something. It's just not there.
That could be the basis for a hit sitcom. A show about nothing.
Thanks, Jerry.
Maybe I could guest star in it.
I have to go now.
I'd like that show a lot.
Thanks, Mr. President.
You're welcome, my fellow American.
So, God damn it. So, like, this show had some MacGyver-y elements to it, too, right? Like, a lot of the music is very MacGyver-y.
Yes.
The
And
mullet.
the haircuts.
Yeah, I would argue it's more like MacGyver than it is like James Bond, but we need to go back and talk about the voice, because immediately after hearing that oddly high-pitched British voice, I was taken aback, and I had a suspicion that James Bond Jr. was in fact not voiced by a British person. It was correct. They couldn't get a British person for James. He's an American guy. It just...
Why did they have to get, like, a 10-year-old, though?
Yeah, well, or why did he choose to make that choice? At points, though, don't worry, he sounds like fucking like Paul McCartney. He calls himself like, oh, I'm James Bond. It's so irritating and atrocious.
Yes.
It's a pity they missed the first flight.
Oh, meet the Bonds.
So I'm gonna pause us here in the voice acting just to take a minute to appreciate the voice acting cast here. Outside of Jeff
Oh,
Bennett,
I thought we were having like a moment of silence.
I saw Ben reaching like he was going to push the button, and then
Yeah.
he didn't.
I'm zigging, baby.
So
Let us pray.
the guy that plays IQ has been he's in everything. It's he was a cowboy of Moon Mesa. It's Jeff Bennett.
Which one?
I don't remember. Was he
Oh.
no? He was an extra in
Was
Cowboys.
he Colorado kid?
He might have been, but
Yep.
essentially, thank you. Outside of Pat Fraley and Kath Soucie, who obviously are in this as extra voices, like additional voices,
Of course, everybody knows
Duh.
that.
every single person in this cast has like 7,000 credits to their name, like it, and totally unknown people. So it's like 3 people you've heard of, and some people who were in the stable that the production company was like, "Hey, you know how to work a microphone. Come on in and be British."
In my case, it would be 0 people you've heard of.
You've heard of Pat Fraley and Kath Soucie.
Yeah, I guess.
You know who was in this? Trevor from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh yeah, Brian Stokes Mitchell.
Oh, fuck.
Brian Stokes Mitchell.
So what I love about Brian Stokes Mitchell is that he plays a character named Coach Mitchell. I feel like they built this entire cartoon so that he would have a character.
Do you know what I love about Brian Stokes Mitchell?
How excited Shaylin was.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Stokes Mitchell!
Oh my god! Totally fangirling here. I'm right along with you though, Shaylin. Because so last year, the 4th of July, bear with me, my wife and I are watching the Boston Pops on TV. And they always bring out like some like C-grade acts, like musical acts and like maybe like a performance from like a popular musical. Last year, they brought out like to huge like pomp and circumstance, ladies and gentlemen, Brian Stokes Mitchell. And out comes Brian Stokes Mitchell, just handsome as fuck. And I'm like, who is this guy? What is he doing? And then they announce singing the new Alan Menken tune. And I forget the name of the song. But the whole time he's singing, he was great, by the way.
Proud of your boy.
I just kept screaming, check out this new Menken. Oh my God. Like just the world was clamoring for a new Menken. And we got it. And cherry on top, Stokes Mitchell sang it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was delightful. So seeing him here in Bod Jr., I'm right there with you, Shaylin. I splooged a little bit.
Was it like a new song for Hercules when they adapt it for the stage from the Disney cartoon?
I don't think it was a Disney movie. And
I
so
thought that
couldn't-
Alan Menken only did Disney movies now.
Yeah, it wasn't for a musical or a Disney movie, so I don't know what the hell it was for.
It was for the 4th of July, of course.
Menken's just writing songs. Just here you go. Just throwing them in the ether.
I mean, it is his job, and he is good at it, so I guess it makes sense.
I could tell you a few things about splooging there. Thanks, Mr. President.
Oh, you're welcome.
So what were we talking about?
Just happy to participate.
So far, we have made it to the opening
Right.
minute.
The chase.
The
Stokes
chase.
Mitchell.
So they're on this chase.
He's not here yet.
And
Fuck.
eventually they chase James off of a cliff with motorcycles. And the chasing car drives up and like just knocks the motorcycles off the cliff as well, which is a dick move. And We get a classic Bond villain line, at least, which I did enjoy here.
Goodbye, young Bond.
You know, a classic cocky villain dressed
Yeah.
all in purple. But wouldn't you know it, James Bond Jr., who is an indiscriminate age driving this car, hits the flight converter and his car turns into a plane and he flies away. And it's fucking great. And it's funny. It's
It
good.
is.
It's a good gadget.
Yeah.
And it's a terrible missed opportunity.
How so?
Well, every Bond movie has that cold open.
Yep.
And then it has the little, like the gun reticule or whatever, following Bond, and then it shoots him. Like, couldn't they have done something for the cartoon here for that?
Too violent for children.
I was going to say they have camera
they
shutters
could-
here.
What do I mean? Like they could do something like James Bond Jr.-ify that, right?
With how about like a dart gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they could even just have the little circle follow him, and then like go to the corner, and then there's your theme song.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they needed.
That would have tied the show together nicely.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it would have. Huge missed opportunity here. So I saw that, or I didn't see it, and I was like, this show's gonna suck. And I was right. Just downhill from there.
I had a guess it was going to suck as soon as James spoke, but tomato.
Pity they missed the first flight.
No, just
Tisk.
the logic point here, right, is we find out later that Scum wants the EMP device from James's car. So it's important that they get the car. So why they chased him off a cliff here to have the car be destroyed when that's a problem later, just you can galaxy brain the shit out of it.
Also, I just want to point out that the premise of this episode of television is that there's an EMP in a teenager's car that he doesn't know about.
Yeah.
He might know about it.
I suppose.
Anyway.
I don't think he does.
I didn't get the impression he knew.
Well, I mean, we can get into the crux of this. Is James Bond Jr. a secret agent?
I don't know. According to the theme song, he learned the ways of a spy from his uncle, which is why he gets to inherit the name
Which
from
is a
his
great
uncle
line.
somehow, which is very confusing.
That raises another question. I'm going to argue he's not a secret agent.
Okay.
He's just a rich kid at a school.
I think
Yeah.
I think he's a rich kid who spent summer vacation with his weird uncle.
Okay. And
Richard Bond?
No, James.
yeah, Dick Bond, James's brother.
James isn't the weird uncle. James is the cool uncle. So the weird uncle would be like,
Okay,
Rob.
so James Bond Jr.'s dad is the weird brother, and the rich kid spent time with his cool uncle, I guess.
Okay.
Regardless.
well, I don't think he's a secret agent, but I think like being a spy or a secret agent is like hereditary because he just knows what to do. Like it's in his blood.
His uncle showed him the ropes. It's in the theme song.
It could be. But
To the name.
I'm going to get to the theme song, I promise. But you mentioned the name too, Shaylin, like inheriting the name.
Yeah.
Can you be a junior if it's not a father or mother-son relationship?
So,
Holy shit. Holy shit. I have to tell this story. I met a woman. I was eating lunch. She just randomly introduced herself to me
Uh-huh.
as Valerie. And then she goes, and this is my daughter, Valerie Jr. And I just laughed. That was my reaction. I've never met a woman junior before. I didn't even know it was a thing.
it's
I-
not a thing.
Yeah,
Well, if you saw the movie Junior, it could have been a thing.
That would have been the first name.
could have been.
Oh, that's true. That's fair.
So, in American culture,
Uh-huh.
you can give a kid any name you want,
Mm-hmm.
literally, as long as it is a name. Like letters on a page.
These are British, though.
It cannot
So,
be
but I'm not
Adolf.
done. It can be Adolf.
Mm.
In the United States, it can be. But later,
Not
CPS
if you want
can...
to keep your kid.
Yeah, CPS can take your kid away later for emotional abuse,
It's
but you
British.
can name them.
British.
In the UK, you can inherit a title from a family member if there's not a descendant that will inherit instead of you. So he could theoretically, if it's like the House of Bond, then he would inherit that title, but he wouldn't be junior in that case. He would be like Lord or Duke or whatever.
Fauntleroy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So junior is an American thing as far as I understand it.
Okay.
Um,
Viceroy.
But it's also entirely possible that James Bond told his brother, I'm never going to have a child, and your name is, Pooh Face. So why don't we name your kid after me instead of after you?
Sure.
Oh, Daddy Pooh Face.
That's the moment I wanted to see.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh, I thought it did make sense.
I'm saying that he can inherit his uncle's technical moniker, but it does calling him Junior is very odd.
I'll tell you, when I entered into this conversation, I didn't think that we would be going down the rules of actually inheriting names. So I'm sure our listeners who say we bullshit around too much will appreciate that actual nugget of information you provided. Mm-hmm. It's a good service.
You're welcome, listeners.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a font of knowledge that is not helpful to anything.
Like a Fauntleroy of knowledge.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But we've buried the lead, and we've gone far too long without talking about this theme song.
We're trying.
Let's play it right now.
Bond. James Bond Jr. No one can stop him, but scum always tries. Young Bond cuts through each web of spies. He learned the game from his Uncle James. Now he's heir to the name James Bond. James Bond Jr. Look out, he's coming through. He's got a job to do while he rescues the girl. James Bond Jr. chases scum around the world.
What a hit.
Ooh. I gotta give kudos to that singer. He put everything into that. Just hitting those notes, just really just a lot of energy. I love it.
So I was going to pose the question, was the singer a man or was it a woman?
I thought it was a woman.
I couldn't identify it.
I thought it was the love child of the singer from Styx and the little guy from Air Supply. It sounded just like that. So it could have been a boy or a girl.
But is the dress purple?
No, it's blue or
gold.
Oh, fuck. God, see, I'm not with it.
Idiot.
Edit this out. Fucking bullshit. Anyway, the song is hilarious.
James Bond Jr. chases scum.
chases scum.
He learned
around the world.
He learned the game from Uncle James.
Yeah.
To the name.
Watching this episode was worth the theme song. It was worth it to get the theme song.
Okay.
It's pretty banging. Yet another missed opportunity, though, because all the James Bond movies, at least before the Daniel Craig ones, just had naked ladies floating around things and gun silhouettes of guns shooting.
Yeah.
Where
And
was that
liquor.
here? Where was that here?
Well, we had a guy who looked like Dabney Coleman, so it's a start.
Just a silhouette of Coleman's mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Dabney Coleman? More Dabney Coleman.
James Bond, chases scum.
So we are entering Warfield Academy, which is the big prep school or whatever. And the dean is Mr. Milbanks, and he is worried about a late student who we know is James. And James literally comes flying in his car. He doesn't even try to hide the fact that the car is some kind of supercar. So I guess, I don't know. It's odd. Nobody questions it. Nobody worries about it. But do you know what kind of car James drives? It's only brought up 70 or 80 times. Hold on.
It's an Aston Martin DB5.
Aston Martin.
Do you think that this was just produced by the marketing company for Aston Martin?
I mean, they certainly gave the okay for this.
Yeah.
You'll only see those sleek curves and, beautiful tires on an Aston Martin DB5.
So what kind of car was it?
It's an Aston Martin DB5.
So
I missed that. Okay.
Yeah. You won't miss it again. So James strolls out of his car, which is now no longer flying, and he's wearing a satin jacket or something. And he actually kind of looks like Jerry Seinfeld now that I think about it.
He does.
But anyway, he goes up to the dean and he gives an introduction that is it's pretty classic.
Ah, yes. Mr. Bond. James Bond. Jr.
James Bond. Junior.
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 Junior's what we called the dog.
If
No. It's not. No.
Dad. The James Bond Jr. like shoehorning thing like upset me as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't even know what James Bond was yet, and like it just felt wrong to hear it. James Bond. Junior.
Junior. It just
Like who
it
the
doesn't
fuck
flow.
introduces themselves that way? Also, like the more I hear his voice and like not coming from his like the animation, it just sounds like an animated cartoon bird, and now that's all I'm picturing. He's just like this little, like Disney little bluebird like flying around.
Interesting
trying to,
you should
like,
mention
dress
that. Same guy does Zazu on
Oh!
one of the cartoons.
Oh!
Brian Stokes Mitchell.
No.
John Oliver.
Get out.
Paul McCartney.
Yes, it's Paul McCartney, actually.
So yeah. So
Winona Judd. What?
listeners,
Sorry.
we want to hear from you. Hashtag JBJ voice actor. So we go to the dean's office, and he has like a really natural reaction to this man flying in a car.
That was quite an entrance, Mr. Bond. I will make some allowances since you are new. But at Warfield Academy, we do not tolerate lateness or dust-raising entrances.
A reasonable man, that dean. So he grounds James for a week. I forget the term they use, but like he can't leave the school grounds,
Right.
which is bullshit. So James walks out and he runs into a man with a vest and red pants. And that is somehow the most normal thing about this man. This is the gym teacher, Buddy Mitchell. And he's also giving James a tour of the grounds, but maybe he's not just a regular old gym teacher. Let's find out.
I wish I were like him. You know my uncle.
Yes, I met him when I was in the FBI. This is the main hall.
I had to pause for a second here because I was like, wait a minute. So this guy was in the FBI and he knows James Bond. So he's obviously like a highly trained agent or whatever. But now he's a gym teacher and a tour guide giver at the school.
Yes.
Like, what did he do to get from point A to point B?
Amongst my not so copious notes, I have the question. What is Coach Mitchell's actual role here?
The gym teacher.
I feel like he's spying on someone too, because
Some intrigue.
I just can't imagine going from working as a spy to being a gym teacher for rich kids.
Well, here's your answer. He was a spy, obviously, but he was burned. So then he just went to the school that he grew up at and just became the gym teacher there.
It could be. But I mean, we're also nominally in the world of James Bond where James Bond is world famous. And so like he's not spying. So maybe you're right, Shaylin, that he's still in the FBI, but he's just himself
Could be.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where you can ask the question, who is this show for? So 1991, I'm 7 years old. Here comes this show about James Bond. I'm like, oh, wow, he's got all these gadgets and a flying car. Cool. You get to this point, and there's, how long was that clip? 30 seconds of him talking about his Uncle James.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck is Uncle James? No, you don't. If you're a kid coming into this, you have no context. They just keep talking about James Bond, super spy, James Bond. Like, what does he do? Why is he here? Why does James Bond and all of his friends like how do you understand them outside of the world of James, like the James Bond movies?
It's a fair question.
It's melting my brain.
I was once told that if you have to explain a poem to someone, then you've failed to write a poem.
A rose by any other name.
And in this case, because they failed to give us any information, context, or helpful plot points, they have failed.
I
Yeah?
like it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have so many epic burns tonight.
I'm all over it.
That's right.
Take that, Murakami Wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who's the third guy?
Ooh.
Shove it up your ramrods. I don't know. Jones.
Okay.
Grace Jones.
So they bring James Bond in to meet his roommate, and wouldn't you know it, It's the grandson of IQ, because every character in the show needs like a loose connection to the James Bond franchise. And
A loose connection and a zero explanation.
oh yeah, for sure. So let's meet IQ.
You must be Warfield's resident genius.
Not really, but I do like to invent things.
And he's wearing like a lab coat, and he actually looks a lot like IQ from the Burger King Kids Club.
Yes.
Could have been some good cross promotion there, but
They were too busy with the Aston Martin team to think of that.
So
it's like they stretched out Wally from Denver the Last Dinosaur, and we had IQ.
Oh, yeah.
but IQ's also short, so you have
They
to
just
stretch.
took
and
Wally's
then-
hat away.
Yeah, chop his legs off.
It's a shared universe.
Yeah, I like that.
James Bond.
So he's invented a liquid that boils an egg faster, which is pretty practical, but
It takes too long.
yeah, it's called the MacGuffin. So they're chatting and bullshitting around, and I noticed something about the dialogue that I thought was pretty weird. I tried to grab a representative clip.
You're Major Boothroyd's grandson. I should have known. And what's your current brainstorm?
A super conductive liquid.
Like every sentence of dialogue and response is like equally timed out. Oh, so you're Boothroyd, eh? What's your brainstorm, eh? My brainstorm is And like there's no highs or lows to it.
True.
Just like the British, very even keeled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Is it a conscious choice?
No.
Thanks,
This-
thanks, Shaylin.
I don't think it's a conscious choice. I think that they just showed up, read lines, and went home. Just like the writers showed up, threw some magnetic poetry at a board, and said, "There's our episode."
It's beautiful.
If they had the same verve and energy that the singer brought to the theme song, this would be a much better show.
Strongly agree.
That's right. So James and IQ start to tour the grounds, and IQ has also invented a watch that has a rocket launcher, and he uses it to shoot a red pepper out of a tree. And,
Yes.
and the
The animation is so good here.
it's so funny.
Even before that, they're walking and he's showing off the watch, but it just looks like he's like got like a weird like physical tick with his arm.
Yes.
Like the way they're animating it.
Yes.
And then they shoot the rocket, and I've never seen a pepper grow in a tree before. But James has, and he loved it.
It only happens in England, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Also notable, the missile looks exactly like a dick.
True.
IQ, you almost hit my bird's nest.
I noticed that about that missile as well.
Very phallic.
Monica. All right. So then we get to that part in the teen movie where like all the kids are in one place, and it's like, hey, I'm so-and-so. Oh, you're so-and-so. So let's meet James's gang, the Bond crew. The first guy they meet is Gordo, and he looks kind of like He-Man, and he's a surfer dude, but he's also the son of frequent James Bond collaborator Felix Leiter, which is like a fucking bizarre connection. But let's meet this guy too.
You know, my dad works with your uncle.
This is like old home week.
Yeah, catch you later.
More of that good dialogue. See ya.
Also, like, this is like
Gotta go.
old home week, except you just started at a school. Like, you're going to be with these people for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I mean, Gordo doesn't like that line. That's why he leaves immediately.
Yeah.
What is Old Home Week?
It's when it's like homecoming. Everybody goes back and visits the hometown from whatever adventures they've been on, and you see, your high school sweetheart and realize that you were really stupid to ever have dated them, and your mom tells all your teachers about your successes and exaggerates about all of them. And
Is Old Home Week where like they pass down the names to the next person?
Yeah.
I think it must be, right?
And is there? Yeah, I think so. And there's a very long explanation behind that.
And
But
there's an orgy and
Yeah.
And clams. There's usually a clam bake
Oh,
involved.
there's clams, baby.
I think clam digging.
Oh.
I think Downton Abbey covered all of that
Yes.
in an episode. Yeah, the whole clam bake orgy.
Yeah,
Right?
Most def.
Mr. Bates
Yes.
was the star of the show.
Master Bates.
Mr. Bates.
Master Bates.
That took me a second to laugh.
Yeah, you got there. So we also meet next in the line the headmaster's daughter, and this is Tracy.
Oh, you're James Bond.
Bond, Father's latest headache.
I am. Father?
I'm Tracy Milbank.
God damn it. It's just so stilted. She's also not British for no explainable reason.
The voice actor that they found in the trailer wasn't British.
she was trying for the British accent, though.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Oh, there, Governor. I'm Tracy Milbanks. And like during this whole scene, James is just grinning like an idiot because they couldn't afford to animate him. So he's just standing there perfectly still. So he looks dashing and horrifying. And then we meet April's pal, Phoebe.
Oh, brother, what a line. Oh, brother, what a hunk.
I'm James Bond.
So here's something that shocked me about this character. I would have bet $1,000 that was the voice actor of Irma from Ninja Turtles.
No.
Because...
Was it not?
It was not. I don't know who the fuck it was. Some person that Shayla knows that nobody's ever heard of.
I hadn't actually heard of her until... Or if I did, I didn't have her in my memory.
Meryl Streep.
It was Brian Stokes Mitchell.
It was Bill Clinton.
Pat Fraley.
But like, you know, like it was...
Pat Fraley, Bad Brad Gay. I love that song, Ben.
Thanks, Mr. President.
You're welcome. You're doing a service to your country.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you miss being in the Oval Office, Mr. President?
You cut me mid-sip. Yes, I miss it greatly. I miss all the perks, if you catch my drift.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Still Randy after all these years.
Oh, very much so.
Oh boy. Well,
very, very much so.
Well, feel free to chime in anytime, Mr. President.
Will do. My fellow Americans.
What's the name of Clinton's dog? Was that Boots?
It's Checkers.
Peaches.
No, I thought he had a cat.
Monica.
The point wasn't there a cartoon about the cat?
Boots.
Yeah.
The cat.
But there was a cartoon.
Millie was the dog that the first President Bush had. And I don't remember Obama's dog's name.
No, we're not. It's not Obama.
I'm just going through presidential pets.
All right. Hashtag presidential pets. So
his name was Coltrane.
The point about Phoebe was like I would have bet any amount of money that it was the same voice actor because it's the same character, just thirsty. But we move on.
It's the Money Penny. She's the Money Penny.
Yeah.
But no relation to Money Penny. She's just a Money Penny character.
Right. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
Maybe she was related. I'm sure she was related at some point. Everybody else was. Yeah. And then we meet one more sexy teen, and this is Trevor. He's like the sub-villain. You know, he's always trying to get James into trouble. He also looks like Beto O'Rourke. Like exactly like Beto O'Rourke.
I didn't put that together.
He will not receive my backing.
Probably not.
No.
And let's meet this smarmy bastard as well.
Out of my word.
Who is that?
That is Trevor Noseworthy. A real twit.
He's also wearing mucklucks. So.
Gotta love the mucklucks.
An interesting guy. So we've met the teens, right? And now we go back and we officially meet Scum Lord. And he's the head of Scum, which is Saboteurs and Criminals United in Mayhem. Because all of these organizations need that acronym. So that's a nice touch, at least. Mm-hmm. And so I mentioned he's dressed all in purple, and it looks like the Shadow.
Yes, but he's not the same thing.
He's got like this face mask on that has a nose on it, and it must be a prosthetic nose because it's just purple. I didn't like the nose. Creeped me out. Didn't care for it. But then, like, Jaws was there for some reason.
Because reasons.
Yeah.
And it's not the Jaws from the movies.
Oh, it's not?
No, Ben, it's not.
I was legitimately not sure. I'm not being facetious.
Oh.
I thought it was supposed to be the same guy.
Well, no. It is Jaws from the movies, but like it's not the character. It's the character design. So in the movies, he just has like metal teeth. In this, he has got a whole like steel mandible.
Yeah,
and he's jacked too.
Maybe he's
also
evolved.
He can talk.
Yeah, and he talks a lot.
Yes, indeed.
A lot of Jaw-themed puns and such. Jaws was the worst GoldenEye character to play, just because he was so damn big.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I didn't think
Gotta go with Oddjob there.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. My cousin would play Oddjob constantly and just strafe in a circle, and it fucking infuriated me, because Oddjob is so cheap to play, because the reticle is above. It's above. You can't hit him.
My sister and I had a house rule where you couldn't be Oddjob.
Not a bad rule for fairness.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be Baron Samedi.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very sexy.
I'd like to be Alan Cummings' character.
I'm invincible. Was he Boris? Was that his name?
Yes.
I think it was,
yes.
yeah.
Yep.
That's a good flick. Anyway, so Scumlord explains to us that he is after James Bond's car because it has a very special tool. It has an EMP generator that would blow things out within a 50-mile radius. So they would use it to knock out all the computers and take over the world. And I'll tell you this, I bet Jared Fogle wishes he had an EMP.
Oh my.
So
That's a deep cut.
Is it?
Very topical reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet President Clinton wished he had an EMP.
Hey, you know what? I just hashtag no regrets, man.
I'd like to EMP that Ken Starr, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It's weird that Bill Clinton was able to talk to himself there.
It's been a wild kind of a ride tonight.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was my brother Will Clinton.
Well, I have to go now.
Phil Clinton.
And then Scumlord points out that he is going to have Bond deliver the car to him, which is fine. And he cackles. It's good. So they get a call at the school where James has a package. And
what a package.
That you bet. It's
yeah.
implied, but we'll find out later. It's all good. So he is thinking that the package is from his uncle because, James is just going to send spy shit through the mail. And Tracy offers to trade a ride in the Aston Martin, as well as a ride in the Aston Martin, in exchange for showing James out.
No, I think it was exchange for ass, cash, or grass.
Yeah,
that was
nobody rides for free. That's correct.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Listeners, we want to hear from you, your best hitchhiking stories. # nobody rides for free. Anyway, Tracy explains a little something about Warfield that plays in with the show here.
Warfield was once used as a counterintelligence training base.
Oh, okay. well, that helps. Was this a school for just spy-affiliated people?
Yes.
That's why I think Brian Stokes Mitchell, Coach Brian Stokes Mitchell, went back to Warfield because that's where he grew up and became a spy.
I don't know. I'm so baffled. I truly I don't even have theories at this point about what this show was.
It kind of made me think of when a new mutant arrives at oh my god,
Professor Xavier's School for the Gifted?
Yes. Except they aren't talented or trained or have special skills, except for James Bond Jr. And I guess IQ.
See, all the mutants have special skills.
What you just described as a boarding school, Shaylin.
But it's one that's well known among the spy community.
Sorry.
No, you're not wrong. I deserve that. I'm saying I don't think that it was intentionally for family members of spies. I'm just saying that
it just
the adults in the spies community, word of mouth, were oh, have you heard about this great school?
Sure.
Brian Stokes Mitchell works there.
Brian Stokes Mitchell?
The singer of the new Mencken?
The very same.
Oh boy, we are on a track here. So there's a lot going on. Anyway, so Tracy, IQ, and James go to the post office. And for some reason, James and IQ leave Tracy in the post office. Or I'm sorry, in the car like she's a dog.
Without the keys.
Yeah, they just lock her in there.
Yep.
And it was hot out.
Yeah.
She could have died.
1 minute and she could have been up to 250 degrees.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
In some states in the United States, you can break the window without repercussion.
Yeah.
What about in the UK, though?
I don't know the laws about dogs and cars in the UK.
That is the one UK law you don't know.
I do know that in the UK, if you smoke in a car with a child, it's like a $10,000 fine.
It pounds.
I was doing the exchange rate.
# Brexit. So this is the plan come to motion. The guys leave the car. Jaws approaches. Instead of leaving the car, running away, Tracy just cowers for some reason, which is interesting.
Oh, who is that? Uh-oh, he's coming this way.
So Jaws
coming this way.
Jaws hot wires.
Salt and pepper reference for you.
It is of the time. Mm-hmm. So Jaws hot wires the car with his teeth, and he drives away. And there's something weird that happens every time the Aston Martin leaves. Like, it's driving on the road, and then it just jumps up in the air for some reason. Did you guys notice that?
Oh, it's very poor animation.
It's like the suspension was off or something.
It didn't occur to me that was like different than the rest of the animation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During the car chase in the beginning, when he's going over the hills, the car doesn't go like up and down the hill. It just kind of like
it just like skitters.
It just kind of like shoots straight across diagonally.
Yeah. Weird stuff.
Solid.
So James notices the car driving away, and he goes, "Oh, but I'll have the keys," as if that would make like a difference with the supercar, but whatever. So James and IQ call the rest of the teens. They show up in Gordo's van, and they're just going to chase down the car. And we get this indication, too, that James might be a little bit different from his uncle. A little bit more sophisticated.
Thanks for coming, guys and gal.
See, he calls out the guys and the ladies, you know?
Woke.
Equal representation. That's the important thing here. So Gordo has brought a box of shit for IQ from the room because he doesn't know what IQ's inventions are. And IQ responds to this a little bit weirdly.
Oh.
I don't know.
Masturbates.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So he pulls out like this MI6 tracking radar, which is kind of sophisticated for him to have, I feel like.
Well, I mean, his grandfather gave him some gadgets to play with at boarding school.
I guess it like this gets into the is James in MI6 or not? Because I was like, oh, maybe he is, but it's just that the car is a tool, so who the fuck knows?
What kind of car is it?
It's an Aston Martin DB5.
Oh man, I hope they find it.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And you know what? Spoiler. They're gonna real soon. So IQ arms James with he arms him with like the rocket watch, which now has a buzzsaw in it. Now keep that in mind. It has,
a buzzsaw.
So he can
not a blade.
He can cut the apples from the trees.
Right. He's going to peel them.
Keep this in mind. It has a rocket launcher and a buzzsaw. This is important for later on, I think. And so they track the car, which is driven into a box truck, which is then driven to the Scum air hangar. And another weird thing here, Phoebe asks James how he likes his ladies. Did you hear this?
No.
I missed that.
Landing strip.
So.
Wow.
I agree.
Wow.
James and I are simpatico.
So yeah, I mean, you know, I guess he has some of that debonair, womanizing streak to him after all. But anyway,
it's the beginning of a new relationship between the U.S. and the U.K. It's talking points.
Non-sexual relations.
I did not inhale. Whatever.
I'm trying to, yeah.
Moving along.
So James also explains what scum is for the uninitiated.
What's scum?
Organization that will stop at nothing in its quest for world domination.
Ugh, sounds yuckola.
That it does. It does sound yuckola.
He still hasn't explained the acronym.
No, it's never explained.
I'm just throwing that out there.
I had to do legitimate internet research to find this one out. James gets the egg boiling liquid. He pours it into one of the cars. It blows up. Don't worry, like nobody is hurt or anything. Oddly, the truck was being driven by like a 90-year-old man wearing a Punisher shirt.
Yes.
This is sort of weird.
Like the best henchman ever in movies and cartoons. Just like it's usually like this faceless person who's like, well built or whatever. But nope, just this kind of crotchety 90-year-old man.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
We could take a quick listen to him.
What's wrong?
I don't know. Must have overheated.
He's also like the only henchman that Scum has.
Yeah.
You know, because we get to the plane and it's only Scum Lord and Jaws later. I thought that was an interesting detail.
And like they're in England, right? Why is there like a mechanic from Maine? Like fixing their truck.
Well,
He's the best.
yeah, Scum.
Well, it looks like you got a flat tire there.
Scum only brings in the best and brightest.
Can't get there from here.
So,
Get me Clint from Bangor.
So James uses this distraction to go to the car. He's looking for Tracy, who is now in the trunk for some reason. She was in the back seat. She kind of explains what she did.
Tracy, are you all right?
I removed the rear seat and hid in the trunk when Jaws.
It seems like a big ask, right? Just removing the rear seat to crawl into the trunk.
See, I feel like Jaws would have noticed that.
I would have as well.
Yeah.
But she's the daughter of a headmaster from a spy school, so maybe that's just something,
Guess.
Guess so.
Anyway.
Maybe Brian Stokes Mitchell taught her.
It could be.
Between like dodgeball and like field hockey practice, he's like, here's what you do if you ever get stuck in a car.
You need a Slim Jim. If you don't have a Slim Jim, just take out the back seat.
And if that car is an Aston Martin DB5, here's what you really do. I don't know what.
If that car is a DB5, here's what you do to stay alive. Tuck your feet behind your dead, or you'll end up dead. It's all about mnemonics.
If you're stuck in an Aston Martin, don't get caught
farting.
Yeah.
I'm not playing this game with you.
If Monica comes and wears that dress, you have the right to be obsessed.
Heavy sigh.
If your intern is the girl of your dreams, ask her to give you a pair of blue jeans.
So Josh shows up, and he picks them both up with one hand. It's a good one.
Yeah.
And he throws them in the trunk. And then he walks up to the cockpit, and he just leaves them in the back with the flying supercar. James, kind of similar to IQ, has this bizarre stress coping mechanism.
It's no use.
I splooged a little bit.
It's tough in these trying times. So we're flying the plane, we're hanging out. James, not satisfied with trying to masturbate, moves on to something a little more aggressive.
Ow! Sorry, Tracy. It's a bit cramped in here.
Says a lot. So Shayla.
It's the
It's a little cramped in here.
trying to get in her trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he got there.
Hey-o.
Oh yeah.
Humana.
It's a little cramped in there.
Humana.
Oh my, I've never been here before.
Talk about shaken, not stirred. Anyway. So James uses the watch to escape, but he uses the laser on the watch.
To which you might ask yourself, when the F did he get a laser in that watch?
Yeah, like they introduced that buzzsaw that they never used.
I
Like
was
a
expecting
rocket
him to
in the
use
buzzsaw.
the buzzsaw to cut through the back seat.
Yeah.
Because he had a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
But no, here's a secret laser that we're not going to tell you about
It's
that
so
you can absolutely use to escape with. What the hell?
It's such funny writing because it's like IQ could have introduced that laser, right?
Yeah.
Instead of introducing a buzzsaw. You wouldn't question it, but it's because he mentioned the buzzsaw and they spent 10 seconds on it that it's like, huh.
Chekhov's buzzsaw.
It's fortunate that this explosion in the car didn't kill them, but it didn't. Jaws comes back into the hangar. Bond tries to run him over, but it comically, they run into Jaws with the car, and he just he stumbles backwards into the cockpit where Scumlord doesn't ask what's happening. Things are just very quiet for 5 or 6 seconds.
The plane is not shaking.
No, not at all.
Also, they ran a car into a man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there were no repercussions.
Oh, there were repercussions because Jaws comes back.
And he's mad.
He's mad, and he's
pissed.
He picks up the car. He starts chewing on it, which is funny. He's like that guy in the Guinness Book of World Records that ate the airplane.
Yeah, I laughed.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. James is trying to get the car back into flight mode, which Tracy is oddly skeptical of, given that literally yesterday or 2 days ago, he made the car fly in front of the entire school.
Yeah.
But she was not necessarily there when it happened.
But her father and entire circle of friends were there.
Right.
There's no way that wasn't talked about.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. So James continues his sexual activities and...
When in doubt, push a button.
Always works. So
He found it.
you bet he did. So he hits Jaws with the ramrod, and this shoves him
Yeah, he did.
back into...
I know a little something about that.
I bet you do, Mr. President. He goes back into the cockpit, and now the plane is crashing. But there's no urgency to this. James and Tracy have time to leisurely chat. James grabs a parachute. He grabs Tracy. They jump out of the plane. They're just kind of moseying along.
Did you like how the plane was huge in one angle, cavernous, and then very, very tight the next angle?
Yeah.
I did
Just
like that.
Yeah, and it was still, despite its shape shifting, still no turbulence.
It's just a very steady pilot. Course correcting for all of that movement.
Scumlord, before he became the leader of Scum, was a American Airlines pilot or something.
Yeah. He's very steady on the controls.
Professional.
I think that he worked out of that airport from the show Wings.
Yes.
A lot of small planes.
He's
good friends with Thomas Hayden Church.
And Tony Shalhoub.
Indeed.
Yeah.
# Wings. It gets even weirder here because James grabs Tracy and they jump out of the plane, right? Now, Scum's plan was the car with the EMP, not James, not Tracy. For some reason, Jaws leaps out of the plane with no parachute because it's starting to crash, I guess. They still have the car in the plane. Scumlord never leaves the plane, that you say?
No.
So you could assume that he's dead.
Yes.
But so Jaws lands in a barn and he says, "I'm going to get you, James," or whatever. But it's truly bizarre.
Yeah, not an injury.
No, not at all.
Just unscathed.
Yeah.
Fallen from an airplane into a barn.
I know one of the tropes about big James Bond villains and a lot of action movie villains is the tall guys, you punch them, you pummel them, but they just look at you and you keep smiling. But usually those guys get their comeuppance in the end. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones is fighting that bald Nazi and he's getting his ass kicked, but then that guy gets chopped to bits by the propeller. Yeah. But Jaws jumps out of a plane here and he's okay. He's fine. He's fine. But we're not done. We come back to the academy and Trevor, that cad, he's brought the dean to James's room because he's convinced he's out. But old James gets one up on Trev here.
Mr. Milbanks, I really appreciated the time in my room.
So
the time in my room. He
I
does
was
not
helping a
sound
Disney princess
British.
get dressed.
Oh.
I was getting in a sticky wicket. So Trevor is given detention or whatever. Mr. Mitchell shows up.
Coach Mitchell.
Coach Brian Stokes Mitchell.
Mm-hmm. He's the handler or whatever. And he explains, he kind of debriefs James here. And this was the most frustrating part of the episode.
Not so lucky, James. I just talked to your uncle. That pulse generator was never in the Aston Martin at all. Scum and we were misinformed.
What?
So aside from the plot questions of what the fuck was the point of this? We find out there was literally no point to anything we just watched.
None point.
But the Aston Martin is destroyed, but they take the pieces or they just give James a new car, which I really enjoyed because we get some new car music.
What? Who?
A gift from 007.
A gift from 007.
It's like a reward for losing the Aston Martin. What the fuck was this?
The music sounds like when Link opens up a treasure chest in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
A new car.
I wonder if this new car was an Aston Martin because they don't actually tell you. And because they don't, I'm maybe it wasn't.
I think
Ford
it wasn't.
Focus.
Do you think in every episode they have a different car that was a fancy sales gimmick kind of a situation?
So the toy was this red car that he ends up with at the end. So I guess that's how it's introduced. I suspect he keeps that, but it's an interesting idea. So he takes IQ for a ride. IQ talks about filling it up with gadgets. And then there's this weird, awkward pan zoom onto IQ. And that is where the episode ends. A bizarre ending to a bizarre 20 minutes of television.
Merciful.
So that's James Bond Jr. And let's rate this. Would you show it to a child? Sleepy.
Sure. Why not? Nothing happens. There's nothing offensive. There's nothing inoffensive. It just is.
It's like oatmeal.
Yeah, basically.
My answer is very similar to Shaylin's. I think I wrote down, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I think I can now answer the question of who this is for. The show is for parents who are desperate to show their kids James Bond, but don't want them to see like any of the risque stuff.
Oh, okay.
And that probably explains why the show didn't last.
Yep.
That's why my dad wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
It's like me and my dad are the only ones watching.
Yeah.
Watching the show. Yeah.
And you sustained it for a year.
But it worked because I became a very, very big Bond fanatic after that.
Yeah, you're always walking around in the tux, and you're always like, hey, this is like that time in Moonraker. Just constantly.
Yeah. Just like it.
Just like that. Real Bondomaniac.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go with 1 to 5 shoe phones. Shaylin?
I give it 2 shoe phones. Because that's how many times I watched this episode trying to figure out what the hell was going on. I never rewatch an episode, but because I watched this on my commute, I was like, I must have gotten really distracted by something and I just didn't notice because my notebook was almost completely blank. And then I watched it a second time and went, oh no, nothing happened. I see.
I also give it a 2 out of 5. It's super boring. It is both the slowest 20 minutes in the world and the fastest 20 minutes in the world. It just all of a sudden it's just over. But it feels like you're being tortured the whole time. It's weird. I can't explain it. It's like a space-time continuum thing, I guess. But yeah.
It certainly was dense. I'm going to give it a social and also say 2. And it's less for this episode, which was truly bizarre, and more like in researching this, like knowing that the child of Goldfinger shows up later and there's all these bizarre connections. It's like I'm almost compelled to watch more just to see these other like loose, tenuous connections that they end up with. But the show itself, boy, it was a confusing mess. And I really want to know if by the end they've established whether he is actually a secret agent or just an adventurous high schooler.
Yeah, if he like graduates and he goes on to secret agency or whatever that is.
The graduation ceremony is he has to kill his beloved dog.
This is a different movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying. So Dave, since you picked this, you are in charge of our game for the evening, and it sounds like you have come up with a raging comeback.
I have. I've got a game and a name for the game.
Ooh.
Unlike you and Kendall, Shaylin. Can never name your goddamn games.
This or that. I came up with a name the last couple times and you just made fun of it.
I wasn't here to make fun of it. So don't throw me under that bus.
I didn't make the last game.
All right.
Let's not
what the hell ever.
Let's not bicker because that's not the backbone of this show.
No. That's for that's for you two. This game is called Dr. No, Your Bond.
Oh boy.
Ben, could you hit the song?
It's time to play another game. It's time to play a game with Dave. Another game that's pretty lame. It's time to play another game.
I have 2 thoughts.
Yeah.
One, parody songs are firmly in my arena, so you're a thief. 2, that was deeply disturbing.
So I was away on vacation for 2 weeks, and do you know what I was doing for 2 weeks?
Modulating your voice.
I was recording that. It took me 2 weeks to come up with that gem. I wrote it.
I was well worth it. I
produced it.
Full-heartedly say that.
Yeah.
I'm
I also
speechless.
picked the best. I picked the best Bond song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Madonna's best work.
Yeah,
And
for sure. Not Beautiful Stranger from Austin Powers.
how you were able to get Madonna to agree to record that track.
Yeah.
I don't know how you did it, but it must have taken all that vacation.
That was 50% of it. Just trying to get her to sign on the dotted line.
What does she do now?
Nothing? Pretend she's British.
She's like that voice actor.
Rolls around in pits of money?
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, Dr. Know Your Bond. In this game, you two are going to compete head-to-head for the chance of a lifetime to write the next Bond movie. Okay? You guys excited?
Yes.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Brian Stokes Mitchell.
The first thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to vet your credibility. I need to make sure that if I'm going to put this movie and this franchise into your hands, that you have a love and adoration for the character in the films. So I'm going to give you the name, a name, and you're going to tell me if that name is from a Bond movie, from James Bond Jr., or from me. So I can establish that you are indeed a James Bond film fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
So, as an example, Ben, if I said Pussy Galore, you would say it's either Bond, James Bond Jr., or me. What is it?
I'm James Bond Jr. No, it's James Bond.
Yeah. Yes, okay. So you would get a point for that.
Mm-hmm.
Then, the second part is, I've established your credibility, but now I need to see how creative you are. So for every name that I give you, I want you to come up with a punny Bond-esque quip. So I gave you Pussy Galore, Ben. That's a real example. So Bond says, "I must be dreaming." Mm-hmm. And yes, that was Sean Connery. So if I give you a fake one like Hootie McBoob, you could say something like, "You piqued my interest," or something like that. So
I have nipples.
Exactly. So if I like it, I'll give you another point, and then I'll tally the points up, and the winner gets to write Bond 26.
Sounds pretty simple.
All right. So, Shaylin, you got it?
I got the rules.
Are you ready?
No, never.
All right. So, Ben, you're going to go first.
Sure.
Is this a Bond, James Bond Jr., or Dave? Shake ya booty. And that's shake like SHEIKH.
That has to be one that you made up.
That is incorrect.
Huh.
That is James Bond Jr.
Really? That
Yes.
seems risque for that kid's cartoon.
It was 1991, so.
That's true.
And I'll give you a chance to get a point out of that round.
All right.
What's a witty Bondism for that?
Here's a milkshake I'd like to bring to the yard.
That's pretty good. All right, Shaylin.
Yes.
Plenty O'Toole.
That's a Dave.
That is an actual Bond film character.
Yikes.
Yes.
It's just a dude with a huge pipe.
Exactly. I don't remember the exact line, but what would the line be, Shaylin?
I'd like to show you a tool.
Ooh. Okay. Like that one.
Do I get points for being Sean Connery? Because that was spot on.
That was Sean Connery? Anyway. Ben, you're next.
Yeah.
Cocoa Nuts.
James Bond Jr.
That is incorrect. That was me.
God damn it.
Yes, and give me a Cocoa Nuts Bondism.
I go cuckoo for cocoa nuts.
I'm going to give you a 0 on that.
I don't even know what impression I was going for either.
Yeah.
It was apparent that you didn't know.
You were like veering into Al Pacino territory?
Yeah. I was flustered.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. Shaylin.
Mm-hmm.
Baron von Skaren.
James Bond Jr.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Give me a Bondism.
A shame he missed his flight.
You got it.
Realism.
Yeah.
If you want realism, it needs to be higher pitched.
That's true.
Yeah, do it again.
A shame he missed his flight.
Tweet, 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 tweet. Ben.
James Bond.
Minnie Driver.
James Bond.
No, that was me.
I thought you were overthinking it.
Nope. Give me a Bondism for Minnie Driver.
How do you like them apples?
I wanted you.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I wanted you to go full Austin Powers with that. There were opportunities.
Like what?
I don't know. You're funnier than me, but
what would it sound like?
it would have something to do with Mini Me.
Oh, okay.
Because it's Mini Driver.
Okay.
I'd like to drive that Aston Martin DB5 into your love tunnel. Oh.
Huh. Well, I regret my decision to suggest this.
Shailen, you're next. Jizzy Handler.
Davism.
Yes.
Thank God.
And give me a Bondism for that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know. Gonna have to wash my hands of this one.
Ooh, I like that one. That's quite a mouthful.
Oh, all right. All right.
I like that dress, Monica.
Mr. President, where did you come from?
Oh, I was here the whole time. I was under the table.
Gross. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I pop up where you're not expecting me.
Yeah, stop doing that.
Okay.
I was under the table like Monica was under the Oval Office desk.
Oh, Hillary's calling. I gotta go.
Oh.
See you later, Mr. President.
Goodbye.
See ya. Sorry you couldn't play the game, Bill.
I'm still under the table.
Okay, see ya.
I'm hiding.
You're tickling my foot. Ben.
Yes.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Officer Dick Trickle.
James Bond.
That is Dave.
Fuck. Come on.
And you're really bad at this. And give me a Bondism.
Hold on. I lost my accent. Is that Trickle? Are you happy to meet me?
Okay.
That's
Shailen.
Old man James Bond? I don't know.
Sure.
No, it's like 75-year-old Roger Moore.
in a Punisher shirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Shailen.
I'm ready.
Felicia Blofeld.
James Bond.
No, that is me.
Damn.
Give me a Bondism for Felicia Blofeld.
I'd like a fillet of that. Because there's something fishy about Blofeld. I don't know why.
Okay. All right.
Made me think of fillet of fish.
Did somebody say fillet?
Give me that fillet of fish. Give me that fillet. Ben.
Side note before we proceed, there's a fan theory that Scumlord is in fact Blofeld in disguise.
Ooh, I like that.
So anyway,
I like that.
Proceed.
Dr. Christmas Jones.
Oh, that's James Bond.
Yes, and give me a line.
Like to light up that tree, Monica.
Ooh,
Mr. President, that's my line.
I was just researching The World Is Not Enough, and the line that Bond has is, I thought Christmas only came once a year.
I was like, this is a line I remember, but yep, that is certainly what he says.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Shailen.
Yes.
Holly Goodhead.
Davism.
That's correct. And give me a Bondism.
I am just out of words here. I'd like a good handful of that.
I'm sensing a pattern to your answer here.
I just haven't seen enough Bond films to have a good grasp on the character fully.
How many good heads are there?
Did you say headful or handful?
I said handful.
Okay.
A headful.
Oh man, I could use a handful of head right now. All right, 0 points for that. Boo.
I accept your decision.
She talks in her sleep.
She talks in her sleep.
My favorite line.
Ben.
Yes.
The Snuffer.
James Bond Jr.
No, that's a Davism. Give me a Bondism, though.
My favorite brand of snuff is Skull.
Very brand heavy Bondisms for you.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one. It's tied 6-6.
I don't know how this
How's that
scoring
possible?
works.
Yeah. Huh?
Nothing.
How's it possible?
Yeah. No, it's fine.
It's whose line is it anyway? And it doesn't matter.
The magic of cinema.
Yes, exactly. Shaylin, Kissy Suzuki.
James Bond Jr.
No, that is a Bond film.
What?
You only live twice.
Oh.
Yeah. It's problematic.
Yep.
Yeah. It's where Sean Connery turns himself Asian. I'm not lying.
I've seen the images, but not the movie.
Yeah. The movie is fun. Donald Pleasance is Blofeld in it. He's really good.
He was better in Halloween.
That is totally true. Give me a Kissy Suzuki Bondism.
And try to keep it above boards. Okay.
I'd rather not. Can I just not do that?
You degenerate.
You'd rather not give a Bondism?
That's correct. I would take a 0.
Wow.
You can't pass. You cannot pass.
So what we do here...
I take umbrage with this pass.
I'd like to kissy...
Oh my
God. Something. She talks in her sleep.
Oh boy, I'm giving you that one.
Boy, oh boy.
I'd like to kiss you. Humana.
You tried to dance your way out of an answer, and then you almost danced your way into something that we would truly have to edit off the show.
Well, no, what I was hoping would happen I was going to do the Michael Scott thing, where I start to say something and then the joke follows. But in true Michael Scott fashion, there was no joke to follow, so it just had to kind of trail off.
And in true Office fashion, Ben and I just looked at a camera that isn't there and shrugged. Ben, Tasha salad.
That would be fake.
Yes, that is fake. And give me a Bondism for Tasha salad.
I'd like to toss that salad with some jelly.
I like it. You've taken the lead. Shaylin, you have a chance to tie here. Is that right? No, you have a chance to win here. This is the last one. Scat Girl Dawn.
Davism.
Yes. And make it a good one. You're tied at 8. With this one, you could win the chance to write the next Bond movie. Give me a Bondism for Scat Girl Dawn.
I'd like to skiddly scat on her.
Okay. Shaylin wins.
Poop jokes.
Yeah. A good alternative would have been no shit.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be about like I'll do this to you, but the usually a good route to take. Shaylin, you won. Kudos to you.
I can't wait to make our Jerry Seinfeld James Bond film with Brian Stokes Mitchell.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Who would be the villain in this film?
I was gonna say the annoying British guy who sings, but I don't want to be near another movie with him in it.
What?
Who?
Who's the guy that has the late night show? James Corbin.
Robbie Williams?
James Corbin.
You want
Robbie Williams.
James Corden to be the villain in the Bond movie? That's
Yes.
more outlandish than Jerry Seinfeld as Bond.
I thought he would make a good villain.
Yeah, he is pretty irritating.
Yeah. But then we would have to sit through a film with him in it.
Yeah, him
so.
singing and shit.
Oh, it'd be terrible.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
He's doing carpool karaoke in the Aston Martin DB5.
This episode will never release because of this James Corden slander.
People fucking love James Corden.
I'm sure that he's a very nice person that people really enjoy spending time with. I just do not always jibe with his personal brand of humor.
How dare you? How dare
I thought you were woke.
Do you think he likes to eat Brussels sprouts?
Huh?
Maybe we could bond over that. I like Brussels sprouts.
Bond, James Bond, Dr. Know Your Bond. Thanks for playing my game, everybody.
Woo!
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
On to the mailbag. Dear Stinkfingers, you talked about the Ewoks, and for that, you should burn in the abyss forever. But it's in the forest, and trees are A-okay by me. What are your favorite camping foods and activities? God bless, Jim Berger, Houston, Texas.
What was the question? I got hung up on snake fingers.
Same.
What do you like to eat, and what do you like to do while you camp?
Oh, I like quickie pies.
You might need to explain what that is.
Yeah, what is a quickie pie?
So
Quickie pie sounds like something James Bond would do.
This is a family show.
I don't know if this is what they're actually called. That's just what we always called them. They
Is a quickie
sell.
pie
You might need
related
to
a-
explain what this is.
Let me explain myself.
Is a quickie pie related to a landing strip?
No.
Okay.
More than you could know.
So the Coleman Company, and I'm sure other companies as well, make these contraptions that look like tongs, but where the
Yes.
hinge part is, it's like reverse tongs. So it's handles where the ends are, and near the hinge, it's like these 2 circles or 2 squares, and you put bread on each of the squares, and then you put like some kind of filling, and you close it, and then you roast it over the fire. And it makes like a quick little pie. It's a quickie pie maker.
Okay.
Let me see that tongue.
Baby.
Listen, I was asked
S'mores.
I was asked a question and I gave an answer. That's what I like to eat when I'm camping. White bread with pie filling in the middle, roasted over a campfire.
All right.
All right.
All right. It's you 2 birds, 1 stone. You like eating and making quickie pies.
Mm-hmm.
I just love a good campfire grilled burger. Classic for me. My favorite thing is to stare into the fire pensively for hours. That's what I'll do. Just watch the flames dance over the logs and crackle and everything. I don't think about anything. I just look pensive, and people are like, "Wow, that guy's really, really, really thinking hard about something. He's got a deep, deep, dark past."
I enjoy campfire cooking to an extent. Hot dogs and s'mores and shit, that stuff's awesome. But then you always think it's a good idea to be like, oh, we're going to make like pancakes. And then it's such an involved process. And you have all these like hot pans, and it never quite cooks the way you think it's going to because it's not an even flame. And then you have to deal with like cleaning all that shit up. So the answer is chips.
Cool Ranch Doritos.
I very much enjoy going to like the local store, wherever your campsite is, and getting like a shitload of the cheapest beer you can find, and just getting like fucking blitzed and wandering around the campsites, and then coming down off that and laying in the tent and hearing like all the people around you while you're lying on rocks, and enjoying that part of it.
The best, like the inevitable, like it's really quiet, like the crickets are chirping, the wind's going through the treetops, and then some asshole gets his guitar out and just starts playing DMB or something. Yeah,
it's fucking bullshit. When I was a kid, I always enjoyed bringing like my Game Boy too. There's something very tranquil about being in the woods, out in the beauty of nature, and then just pulling out like Tetris.
Alleyway.
Yeah.
Do you remember the time we went camping and I think it was Canadians showed up at like 10 o'clock and pitched a tent, and their children were excessively loud.
They pitched a tent, all right.
They were not. They were just loud. I don't think that they were
I did.
sexing. They were just obnoxious, and they stayed up until like 3:30 in the morning, and then we finally woke up at like 7 the next morning because you're camping, and they were already like packed up and gone.
Yeah.
That was a weird trip.
That was weird. There was also the time that we were camping and that young couple.
Oh, I forgot about them.
Like just came up and asked us to give them like a ride to the liquor store.
Because they couldn't drive because they had DUIs.
Yeah. And I think
Did
they had been like kicked out of their living situation.
Yes.
So they were living on this campsite. Yeah. No, we drove them.
We drove them because we were afraid that if we didn't, then they were going to like take revenge on us because they were the next campsite over.
Yeah.
What'd they buy?
Oh, a couple of 40s of something cheap.
Oh, nice.
I remember like very explicitly feeling really weird about it, and I was like, I hope they're not going to open that in the car while I'm driving.
Yeah.
Just the 40 of Mickey's, just pounding it. Nice. I like that. One of the weirdest things I've seen cooked at a campsite or made at a campsite, I guess, is pour over coffee. You two were there.
Yep.
Our friend Sean just had he'll appreciate this. He's a big fan of WatchBots. Just had his fancy carafe and just made a delightful pot of pour over coffee.
I was going to say that came out very well.
Yeah, it was a really good cup of coffee.
It was really good, but I just not expecting it. I always thought like camp coffee came in like a crappy thermos, and you had to like take turns sipping it out of the one tin cup that you have that you brought. No, he came prepared, and it was delightful.
You drink out of a tin cup, and then you pull out your portable DVD player, and you watch your favorite Kevin Costner film.
Exactly.
You go on with your day.
Exactly.
So camping's fun. Now that I have a Nintendo Switch, that'll be coming on all our camping trips. I want the battery packs.
Huh.
So I can play Skyrim on the road. Well, thanks, Jim. And
You're welcome.
If you want to get in on the fun, email at watchbotspod.com. So that will end our foray into James Bond world. Any closing thoughts?
I'm still not really sure what happened in that episode, but I'm glad we're on the other side of it.
I have no closing thoughts, Ben, but thank you for asking.
Oh, boy. Thanks, Mr. President.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it was a fine time. I don't know. I don't know. I want to go back and watch a Bond movie now.
Okay.
Show what a real man looks like.
Which one are you going to watch? What's your go-to?
Probably GoldenEye. I mean,
it's a good one.
It's not like the best one, but it's just the one that I associate with the most. So, anyway, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Jiffy at WatchBotsPod. Please subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, or your platform of choice. For Dave and Shaylin, this is Ben. Thanks for listening to another episode of WatchBots, and until next week, you gotta live your best life and watch out for Monica. Bye. Bye, Mr. President.
Oh, toodaloo. Thanks for having me again.
Bye.